Hi everybody, it is a little bit before 10 on March 21st and we are at the South Sahuarita Trailhead on the Arizona Trail, and we're going to be heading 100 miles from basically outside of Vail all the way up to Oracle, Arizona, about a little shy of 100 miles. We're going to be going through a lot of exposure tonight, but the highlight of the trip is going to be the Saguaro National Park, which we're going to hit in 2 days. And then we're going to camp at, I think, Miller Camp. Got my buddy Dave. He was nice enough to invite me on this trip. So we're going to get going. Just keep moseying, try to stay cool. Got heavy packs, 7 days of food and several liters of water. So onwards and flat for a long time. My first Ocotillo sighting. Looks like they're getting the blooms on them, a little bit of leaves. So we've been hiking for about an hour now, and we got a really good shot looking back to the south, the Sahuarita Mountains. It's been relatively flat, and obviously you can see it's very exposed, so we're getting a lot of sun right now. It's about 84 degrees. In the distance there, you can see the town of Vail, and way off in the distance is the city of Tucson. So here's a good shot looking at the Rincon Mountains. We're heading north, and somewhere out there in the distance we will be going through Saguaro National Park, but that's probably about 18 miles before we get to that point. Got a sea of Ocotillo plants coming up here. Echo! So we just made it to the I-10, the infamous snake tunnel that goes underneath it. Taking our first meal or snack, whatever you want to call it. I got 2 packages of these jalapeno tuna creations on a tortilla shell here, and we'll see how those work out. I've never actually had these before, but they look pretty good and they smelled pretty good when I was making it. So we're gonna chill out here for a little bit. We've already made it over 4 miles, less than 2 hours, almost 5 miles, and we got another 6 to go till we get to a ranch. I think we're going to stop there. It's got water, and then they'll leave us 10 tomorrow to get to the border of Saguaro National Park, where you have to stop before tomorrow. So onwards and that way. Looking at the Rincon mountain range there, but right there in the center you're going to see there's like a little oasis of greenery there, so I'm assuming there's water down there. And right somewhere in that pinnacle right there, there's a guy who I guess is building a castle up there. Don't know much about it, but that's where I'm at right now. So we've just arrived at the Zimmerman Trailhead, and you can see the mountains over there. And the one right in front of us, which is right there, is Mica Mountain. That is one we have to cross here in 2 days. So not tomorrow, but we will on Tuesday be climbing that. It's a little over 5,000 feet elevation gain from the bottom, and that'll be the start of the Saguaro National Park. Also, you can see, I think, believe over there to the right somewhere, if I can point my finger to it. On the top of that hill is that castle I pointed out earlier. Some of this stuff you'll see at the trailheads here. People are kind enough to either stage some public water or cash water for people who have asked for it or paid for it. We're still about 14 miles away from the entrance of Saguaro National Park, but starting to already see a few. There's one perched out there. There's one tucked in the trees there. Got a barrel cactus sitting right over here on the left. So we're getting some diversity in plant life and a lot of prickly pears. So just north of the George Zimmerman Trailhead, there are still plenty of pools of water here, and it's actually flowing as of March 21st. Good water source. And straight ahead there, right where that car is coming down, that is where the Gabe Zimmerman Trailhead is. What we did was we walked all the way across the back side of that, down into the valley here, back up outside the valley, around over to that way, back all the way up to that way, and then we came back down. So about, to get to this point from the trailhead was probably 3 times the distance it actually is just from right there. So trying to figure out the trail. It's got some unique nuances to it, but it's a pretty place. See those rocks up there, probably about the size of a baseball. So this is a coral cactus from what David was telling me. It's kind of neat because there's little berries on it, little fruits. I don't know if they're edible or not. I'm sure they are to animals. Just one more plant that we're seeing out here. Looking down at the ranch there that I think we're going to probably either stay at or near tonight. That's at mile marker 117.1. They've got water there and bathrooms, so not a bad thing. Well, it is the end of night number 1, and we are at La Posta Quemada Ranch, which is at mile marker 117.2. We've already done all our camp chores and ate and all that kind of good stuff, so it's about, we're left about 10 after 6 right now, and about a half hour I think the sun's going to go down, but it's kind of windy out, and there's some kids playing horseshoes over there and doing a few things. So anyway, a lot of different variation in plant life today. I'm sure it's going to be somewhat redundant from here until the end. Well, I'd say in the high areas we're going to probably see some different things, but we saw already starting to see saguaro cactuses, a lot of ceochoyas and acatillos and prickly pears and barrel cactuses. We've seen lots of different those things. I saw one tiny lizard, and that's the only wildlife I've seen all day. So one thing is, it seemed a lot longer than like 10.5 miles that we did today. I think it was because it was so hot. It was about 85 or right around there, maybe a little bit hotter today, and it was completely exposed the entire time. So it kind of drained us both. We both said felt like it was a 20-mile day instead of a 10 or 11. So hopefully tomorrow we're gonna get up early. We've only got like 9.5 miles tomorrow to get to right at the border of the Saguaro National Park. I was reading earlier on Guthook, it said there's 6 sites, campsites, right before that boundary. So I think we're going to try to stay there tomorrow. And then we've got a campsite reserved for the 3rd night at Manny Camp. So that's like 13.5 miles from there. But it's all uphill. I think it's like a 5,000 foot elevation gain. So that one's going to be a fun one that day. We'll have to get up really early to do that. So anyway, from night number 1, good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Good morning from day number 2, and it's about 7:30 in the morning. It's pretty chilly right now. It got cold about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's a brisk one now. But that's actually good because I don't want to be hiking in the heat that we had yesterday. We've got about 9.5 miles. That'll bring us to the boundary of the Saguaro National Park, and we're going to camp there. It's about 17 miles to our next water source from 2.5 miles ahead, where there's a picnic area. We're going to load down on water. We're going to have a dry camp tonight, so we're talking probably 5-6 liters. That's a lot of weight, and we could feel that weight on our feet yesterday for, you know, being the first hike of the season and starting out with 30 pounds on our pack. So probably 33 I had yesterday. So today's going to be a little bit heavier. I only carried 3 liters out yesterday, and today's going to be about 6. So not too much elevation gain. It shouldn't be too awful bad with that. And we should hopefully get into camp relatively early so we can kind of rest and kind of give our body some, you know, the well-needed rest it's going to need for tomorrow, which is that 5,000 foot climb. So I'm not going to flap my gums too much here. We're going to get going and see you up the trail. I don't know if this will pick it up, but we've got a lot of saguaro cactuses right over there on the hillside. And then the mountain ranges over on the other side are just beautiful. That's what we're hiking into today. Not up in elevation, but through that way someplace. So we made it to the picnic area, which is about a little over 2.5 miles from where we camped at last night. And as you can see right behind me there, we've got a little spigot. So this is the last water for 17 miles. So packs are going to be heavy. 6 days of food, and then you got probably 6 liters of water. Feet will be sore by tomorrow. But anyway, we're going to fill up, take a little break, probably use the facilities over there, and move on. There's a really good shot of Mica Mountain right there. That's where we're headed to, and that's what we have to climb over tomorrow. Can't really tell the true thing because there's a dip that goes over there. Then we're gonna be going down and 5,000 feet up. Not sure if way out there in the distance that's Tucson. You can see how windy it is, or hear how windy it is. Heading over there towards Mica Mountain up in the center of the screen right now. It is pretty out here. So it's about 20 after 1 and we just made it to the Saguaro National Park boundary. I assume it was delineated by that. And right behind me, David's sitting over there. He's got his tent spot there. I'm gonna set up right there. So there are a few flat spots around here to set up a tent. Before you get into the park, so if you don't have a reservation for either grass shack or manning camp, this is a good place to stop before you have to make your way up. So I'm going to set up my tent and I'm going to rest my feet a little bit. So I'm sitting here at the end of day 2. I got Mica Mountain in the background. We did right around 10 miles today. The morning started out nice and brisk, and once the sun came up, it did warm up, but not nearly what it was like yesterday. And the breeze was actually very welcome. The terrain all the way up from where we stayed at last night to here was you know, well graded and flat. Not a lot of incline or decline in the hike itself. But the views of all these, cactuses and different plants was pretty cool. Lay down for quite a while after we got in and just kind of let the legs stretch from all that heavy weight we had to carry with the water. Fortunately, tomorrow there's actually a few water sources, and we got about 9 miles to get to Grass Shack, and then about 14 to get to Manning Camp is where we're going to stay at tomorrow night. They're calling for some cold weather, and I don't know how cold it's going to be. I do know they say there's about 40% chance of snow. And somebody, I think, put on Gut Hook that there is snow on the other side on the trail. So that'll be fun to deal with in the morning. But hey, onwards and upwards. Good night from day 2. Well, good morning to everybody. It is 6:45, day number 3. A little chilly last night. David told me it was like 40, 41 this morning. And yeah, it was. I should have taken a video. I had a wet handkerchief that froze stiff. So still got the puffy on, and other than that, a really quiet night. You could still hear some things in the background, like some trains or something going around, but really peaceful, especially with the amount of people we had around. A couple snores, but nothing big. But anyway, we got about 14 miles today, and hopefully we'll have water. Pack is a lot lighter now. I've only got about 2 liters in there, so it's making for a much better pack. It doesn't take me 2 hands to pick it up and put it on my back anymore. So anyway, onwards and definitely upwards. Oh, actually, one more thing I want to say is they're expecting snow up on the mountain tonight, and fortunately I think we've got enough cold weather gear. The one guy actually turned back and went back to Tucson. He had basically just hot weather gear. He had one of the 6 Moons tarps without the floor, and I don't think he had any base layers or anything like that. So it should be a cold one tonight. Worst case scenario is if we can, after this climb, head over to the other side of the mountain. But I also heard there's snow over there already. So gonna be an interesting day. Check you later. Old remnants of a wind vane for water, but you can see that the fins were taken off and no longer in use. You can see now we are swimming in a sea of saguaro cactus, and one ocotillo there, actually one in front of me there as well, but really pretty, and Mica Mountain in the distance. The variety of these saguaros are so cool. You know, you got a lot of them that look like the traditional one, but then you've got things like this that grow off in strange patterns. A lot of that out here, but it's pretty sweet. And here we go, a bunch of ocotillo plants again. They kind of come and go on the trail, but when they're there, they're in full force. You see on this cholla, there's a lot of the fruit on there. It's pretty cool though. The sun reflecting off it is really beautiful. Oh, about 2.5 miles from the border, give or take. And as of March 23rd, there are still a few pools here. Nothing running, but definitely enough you can get some water out of. Well, I've been hiking a couple hours now, and somewhere over this way is Mica Mountain. I believe that is Rincon Mountain, part of the Rincon Mountain range. And then looking back down into the valley from the way we came, I will say this, it is a really good climb up here. It's taking the wind out of my sails, but it's absolutely beautiful. I think that is Tucson in the distance, if you can make that out. Nice little patch of ocotillos here. See all those beautiful green leaves off it with the sun striking it? That's beautiful. So I just crested over the first, I guess you'd say, pass or ridge. And now we get into something that feels a little bit more desolate, even though there are some houses down there in the distance to your right. But this is nice and quiet, calm, and beautiful. We're still a good 2 miles or so from Grass Shack, but as I said, March 23rd, there are plenty of pools up here at this little rock outcropping. A nice big one down there. Once again, we're looking back south, and I don't know if that peak right there in the center has got a little bit of snow on the northern facing slope or not. I can't tell. I know we're supposedly have some on this side, but if you look right here in the center, there's a little saddle right there. That's what we came over. And then we skirted all the way around this way, and you can probably see a little bit of the trail down there, and then kind of right in this area here. And it's kind of been zigzagging up to here, but it's a good climb, but not as bad as I thought it was going to be based on the elevation profile and gut hooks. We made it to Grass Shack Campground about 11:30, and definitely a good flowing stream right here that we've got going, so excellent water source. We're going to probably go ahead and cook lunch and take about an hour. We've got 4 miles to get from here up to Manning Camp, is where we're going to stay tonight, and hopefully we won't get any rain or snow or anything like that. The clouds are rolling in, but they don't look too awful bad yet, but you can definitely feel a difference in the temperature at this point. The climb all the way up to this point, for the most part, was pretty steady, and then once you got to the crest, it kind of leveled off till we got here, and then we've got another huge climb out of here. So moving forward, onward and upward, time to get some grub in my belly. It is it's just about 6 o'clock on the end of day number 3. We're at Manning Camp right now, and I don't know if you could hear the snow coming on my tent right now. And Ranger said it was going to be about 18 degrees. You can see I'm all tucked in. So first part of the day this morning was right through Saguaro cactus and just all kinds of different plants out in the middle of the desert area there. And the morning light coming across, I think it was Rincon Mountain, and just kind of shining on all those different plants. It was just an amazing thing. Now, after that, we had a pretty severe climb, and it's been uphill all day long with heavy packs. I got my food bag sitting right here, and it's still pretty full. Tomorrow we have to leave out of here with probably about 4 or 5 liters of water. It's about 20-mile stretch without water, possibly. So, but anyway, and then we get to the top here, and there's this beautiful pine forest. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So, without anything else to say, and it's going to be a cold one, so I'm going to be tucked in here for quite some time tonight. End of day 3. We'll see you again tomorrow, day 4. Night. Well, good morning from day number 2. And as you can see, it's snowing, and it snowed all night long. And it's cold. It's probably in the teens right now. And my tent was covered this morning. Actually, I helped with the insulation inside, so it kept me pretty decent and warm. But I've got every layer that I could possibly have on right now. And the only thing that I'm probably more concerned about, I think, is just my feet, because I have my trail runners on. Wasn't really expecting this. So anyway, not sure how much film I get. I have all my batteries and water filter tucked inside my jacket, so hopefully they won't freeze. Anyway, onwards, and we got a 600-foot climb over 1.4 miles, and then 4.1 miles to the trail junction, or not to the trail junction, the boundary of Saguaro National Park, which is 1,200 feet below this. So hopefully we'll get below snow line and be able to warm up and strip down a little bit. Anyway, that way, guys. Give you an idea of the view right now, or lack thereof. Can't really see anything, but the trail is discernible, so that's not a bad thing. Well, I can't believe it, the sun's starting to come out, and you can see, even though we're still not quite there to snow line, look at that. Nice, warm, non-slippery trail down the valley there. We're heading somewhere in that direction. So you can see behind me, we reached the edge of the Saguaro National Park. I think we're about 4.1 miles in from Manning Camp based on Guthook's thing. And we're almost down below snow line. We still got a little ways to go. Probably another 600-700 feet, give or take. But I know a lot of people were thinking about trying to make it here. And if you look, there's a fence and nothing else. So I'm glad we stayed at Manning Park last night, or Manning Camp. And it was definitely a big climb out of that, about 700 and something feet. And there was a couple of false summits at the top, kind of tease you and lull you into a false insecurity when you're going down. But it's been all downhill since we got to the top. Mica Mountain is where we were at. That's where you crest over and you come down. So anyway, onwards and downwards. Somewhere out in the distance there, I think, is Mount Lemon. I'm not sure if it's right there or not, but you can see the weather's moving in, and I think the day that we're supposed to get there, or rough thereabout, we might be in for another snowstorm. either way, you could see that that to the left there is east, and you can see there's clouds and stuff moving in. So I'm not exactly sure what to expect today or the rest of the week. About 2 miles or so from the northern border of Saguaro National Park, there's some pools here, both sides. So it looks kind of funky with some green stuff in it, but definitely would do in a pinch. Actually, I would take it regardless. That's looking back up at Mica Mountain where we came from this morning. Now looking right straight ahead of us, somewhere in that area behind that first set of ranges, is Mount Lemon, and you could already see there's snow up there. Bad thing is, the day we were supposed to start climbing up over that, they're supposed to get another massive storm coming in, which is not boding well for us. I hope it's not too windy up here, but this is the end of night 4. You can see behind me, that is Mica Mountain. That is what we spent the last 2 days getting over, and a good portion of this morning in snow. That was we did not know that was going to happen, so we were okay. Just we weren't prepared. You know, I had my trail runners on, which didn't have a whole lot of protection from the elements, and I think David had the same. So, but as we came down, the snow was not the hardest part about the day. That was actually pretty easy, all things considering. The transition, once it became from the snow line where it started to get like really slushy, slipped a few times, which actually kind of did a number on my knees a little bit. But and then the rocks coming down through that area all the way up until here. A nice rolling area for the last couple miles, and we are camped at, I can't believe, not sure which trail junction, but we're camped right at it. And tomorrow I think we're just going to hike about 11 miles, and because Mount Lemon is covered in snow and was slated, or is slated to get a big snowstorm on the day we were supposed to head over it, I think we both decided to play it safe and be smart and just hike 11 miles and get a hitch back into Tucson. So we still had we're gonna have 5 days out here, and it was a fun, great time. So, but I'll have more to show you tomorrow, and good night from day 4 on to day 5. Well, good morning from day number 5, and it's about 7:15 in the morning. Obviously, we're all packed up and on the trail. I would personally like to thank whoever was a nice person who set up the water cache at the trailhead there. Very much appreciated, so thank you. So I'm not sure if there's any water between here and the campground we're headed to, which is about 11 miles away. Give or take a little bit, depending on gut hook or the trail signage. They're both off a little bit. Anyway, last night was quiet for the most part, minus the snoring in stereo that I had, an owl that was hooting, and a cow and a coyote all at the same time. Everybody else sleeping, me sitting there listening to it all. So that was my lullaby. Anyway, other than that, we're just going to keep on moseying. Not sure what today's going to bring. It looks like it's already going to be a nice one, and we're going to move. So onwards and that way. And you can see me And we have crested over the first ridge there. And I think those are the Catalina mountain ranges, not sure. Either way, beautiful morning.
You got the zig and the zag.
So we got a bull and 2 cows going down there. You may see cows. I see hamburger and steaks. So we just arrived at the lake trailhead, and I don't know how much of a lake it is or if I would do any swimming or fishing in it. But up until this point, the trail's been really actually kind of nice. The ecosystem has changed quite a bit. Not a lot of, any type of cactus and stuff. It's mostly like these small little pine trees and little shrubs and a lot of cow patties. But so far it's actually been a really nice morning. Good breeze, nice sun. We're moving. Getting close to Molino Basin Campground. Probably about 3.5 miles still left to go or so. But looks like we have a little, I don't know how long the road walk is, but you can probably see behind me. Just got onto it and we'll see how long it takes us. There's a little water cistern right there, nothing coming out of it that we just had a break at. And we have been coming, through all of this here. And way back in the distance is Mica Mountain. Still covered in a lot of snow. Back into the Ocotillo on this climb up, so we're getting a little bit different plant life the higher we go now. David climbing on up. Well, we just crested the top, and I don't know if you can tell, it's really windy. But right down there, that's where we're headed. Hopefully we can get a hitch. Well, it is 1:30 on day number 5. We did about 10.6 miles to get to Molino Basin Trailhead. And we're going to try to get a hitch here and see if we can get back into Tucson before the snow comes in. It's kind of windy right now, but the day was really, really nice. From where we camped at until about 3 miles ago, it was just nice rolling hills, a little different ecosystem, a lot of the trees and stuff that you see behind us, and not a lot of the sharp, prickly stuff. As we made a climb about 2.5 miles back, I think it was about 900 feet, give or take, we started seeing the Ocotillos again, and some a little of the prickly pear cactus, but not a whole lot of them. So a lot of diversity on this trip, and just a great overall time. I think it was about 56 miles that we did in total, and we're both tired, but we both feel pretty decent. But in order to beat that snowstorm that's coming in, we got to get back into town. Anyway, until next time, guys, get out and enjoy some nature, get out and hike. Take care.